Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmake here and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to do a video around my first impressions of leveling to 120 in Battle for Azeroth on the beta. So I'm going to try and avoid as many kind of spoilers as I can throughout this in regards to quest content, storylines and things like that, but obviously there are going to be some spoilers on the screen and things like that. So if that's not something you're interested in, give the video a like, subscribe if you're not, and then as normal, just fuck right off. So I want to start off by talking about my alpha experiences and the reason I've had to remake this video a few times. So I want to start off talking about the intro scenarios, the Battle for Lordaeron. So when I first did this on Alpha, it was just the straight Battle for Lordaeron as soon as that was introduced. There was no bonus escape quest for the Horde. So after I'd done this, I had very mixed feelings around sort of satisfaction levels. I made no sort of secret that I felt the Alliance scenario of this was much better than the Horde one from a interactive perspective, immersion perspective, and a feeling like we're actually doing something. The Alliance really ticked all of those boxes. From the Horde perspective, you know, we're obviously on a very different side on the Battle for Lordaeron, but you sort of don't feel like you're achieving anything. So the level of interaction feels very low, apart from spreading the blight across the field. You know, defend the Azeroth war machine, which gets destroyed anyway. Hold back the Alliance in the courtyard. Nope, we can't do that anyway. You can't use any of the machines. It just felt like you were a real passenger in that scenario versus someone that was driving the Alliance one. So straight off from that, I was a little meh towards the Horde sort of side of things. However, when they've added in the extra component, the extra quest in for beta for the Horde once the Battle for Lordaeron finishes, this really lifts you back up in regards to your excitement value from a Horde perspective. So I think now that that's all in place, my feelings towards, you know, the scenarios are actually quite balanced to bring you into this expansion. So in Alpha, I'd leveled both Alliance and Horde to 115, and that gave me exposure to pretty much a full zone and a little bit of one of the other zones, and I'd obviously ran through the other zone to check out what that looked like. The first time around, I started off with Horde and I leveled through Nazmir. So from a zone and quest point of view, this is amazing. Like, Nazmir sets the bar stupidly high for the rest of the zones if this is the zone that you first see. The quest line through it felt really new, different, exciting, and it was something really different from the normal side of things in WoW that we'd actually seen. In contrast to this, when I did the Alliance side of things, I started off in Tiragard Sound, which is a beautiful zone. It really is. It's a beautifully designed zone. However, to me, it feels like a very normal zone. It doesn't feel like I'm off sort of doing anything mythical and wonderful. It feels very norm. And it wasn't even close to the same level of immersion that I got when I did Nazmir. From a quest perspective, you know, the Horde quests, in the purest of simple terms, were just cooler. Some of the vehicle quests, control quests and things like that had a real wow factor. Like, when they started off, I was like, holy shit, I'm doing this, or this is an amazing quest. Where the Alliance side, I was freeing lumberjacks from roots, or I was cleaning up a nature reserve, or I was show jumping on a horse, or I was taking selfies with landmarks. It didn't quite pack the same punch. So come beta, the character wipe happened, and I decided to try things a little bit differently this time. So if you don't know how BFA is set out, the Alliance and the Horde have 3 zones each in which to level on their continents. So we've got, for the Alliance, we've got Tiragard Sound, Stormsong Valley, and Drusvar, and the Horde have Nazmir, Vol'dun, and Zuldazar. So I'm going to talk about my Alliance experience to 120, as that's pretty much what I've done here, and that's what I did on my stream in beta, just so I could figure out what zones I wanted to go through and things like that. So starting again, and I'm going to go back to the scenario block, it takes about 40 minutes to get through that scenario, give or take, for both sides. So you're going to set aside about 40 minutes to get you through your scenario, and then the Horde have that extra quest after Lordaeron. But again, as I said, both of these scenarios and intros now set you up really well in regards to getting you kind of hyped for the expansion. And the Horde, that second quest you have after the Battle for Lordaeron, is actually a big one. Like, that is really, really good. When I leveled the second time around to 120, I started off in Drusvar this time on the Alliance, and I have to say it's not equal to Nazmir, I don't think, in coolness, but it's up there. It is an epic zone. The mobs, the animation, the different sections of weathered terrain throughout the zone, the skies, mountains, the forest. It is a fucking amazing zone. The quests here are also fantastic. You know, the hubs are really close together. You're not running large distances to get from one quest to another. The vehicle pilot quests in Drusvar, again, are amazing as well. It flows really well in regards to the quests, as I just said. The pacing through the zone felt really good, so I could get 4 levels out of Drusvar. And then I was off into my next zone. So the next zone I headed to after Drusvar was Stormsong Valley. Stormsong Valley, honestly, at first, it kind of felt like they'd picked up Taolong Steppes and Gorgrond and just kind of mashed them together. You've got these rolling farm hills, and then you've got rock monsters in there and newly added squid men walking around. So it's a little bit different, but it really did feel like that Taolong Steppes MOP vibe, and even people on stream were saying the same thing. Quest flow again through this zone was really good. The hubs didn't require a great deal of travel to get through. The quests weren't too spread out. And again, I was able to get another 4 levels out of Stormsong. And couple of the quests were bugs, so you may be able to squeeze a little bit more out, but it looks like about 4 levels per zone at this rate. So I was 118, and so far I'd averaged a level per hour, so which is really good as well. You put that 40 minutes aside for your scenario where you're not going to get much XP, and then you can pretty much start off at 1 level per hour, unless they change something. So I left Tiragard Sound as my last zone to knock over my last sort of 1.52 levels. The reason being is that the zone just didn't excite me as much, so I wanted to kind of stay away from it. I feel the first section of Tiragard Sound is actually quite good. The quests are quite close together, and you can get through them and get some decent chunks of XP quite quickly, which is why it's sort of good for those last 1.5, 2 levels in my opinion. However, I feel once you get further into Tiragard Sound, past Freehold sort of thing, the quest hubs get extremely spread out on the map, and you end up doing a lot of travel time. And again, I may have just done something wrong there or gone about it the wrong way, but that's sort of what I noticed with it. So I was able to knock out, again, a level per hour on that, and we were 120. So, you know, probably 11 hours is quite a comfortable stream, including the scenario, to get from 110 to 120, and the pacing feels really good. I think they got the leveling experience in Battle for Azeroth on the beta so far absolutely spot on. It sets the expansion up really well just from this introduction to Battle for Azeroth. The land, the questing, the zones do a great job in regards to the introduction to dungeons to the zone. So, you know, you start off in Toldagor, which is, you know, the prison, and it's one of the dungeons you go to. You work through Drusvar, and they talk about the Waycrest Manor story all the way through that. Freehold in Tiragard Sound is actually a quest hub, so you're doing quests, you know, you're getting quests from that actual dungeon. So they've done a brilliant job really tying that together into the story perspective, I think, as you're working through the zones, rather than just finishing the zone and getting a dungeon quest because I do still think from both faction perspective, the Horde zones blend and fit together a little more sort of cohesively. The Alliance ones are very different in their contrast. You know, Drusvar's got this haunted zone feel, which has got lots of changing terrain and different creatures and things like that in it. Tiragard Sound has got lots of animals, and it's very normal and giant humans. And then Stormsong Valley's got the Squidmen and the Rock monsters, and they're all really well designed zones. They maybe just don't mesh as well, whereas Vol'dun, Nazmir, and Zuldazar just seem to blend together a little bit more, like they were kind of created all with the same purpose to kind of flow. Nazmir, for me, as I said at the start of this video, is probably my favorite zone. It may very well actually be the best zone that I think I've seen in WoW, and it's all based around the Necropolis. The Necropolis is absolutely stunning. They have done such a good job. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. I just wanted to make a video and talk about sort of how I found leveling to 120 on the beta. And I have no complaints. I honestly think Blizzard did a fantastic job. One thing I will say is war campaigns become available at level 112. I actually went off and did this for a little bit, so it sends you over to a horde continent. I went to Zoldazar to establish a foothold, and you do kind of quests and things like that. It's a good break from leveling, however it is far slower. So if you're only interested in speed leveling to 120, I would leave the war campaigns out of my leveling journey. But again, you're obviously going to do whatever you like, and if you need a break from leveling, the war campaigns are fantastic for that. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you very much for taking the time to check out the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. See you guys.